Yeah. So anyway, basically, maybe got off track a little bit there, but the where it all kind of started at was I had a desire to be the greatest stud of all time. I wanted to be a stud. Nobody taught me what it was really about to be a man. Having a family didn't seem important or valuable to me because I did not want to get into what I'd grown up in again. Being single definitely seemed like the preference over what I'd grown up in. I sort of wanted to have kids, but I mean, it wasn't a driving force in my life, that's for sure. And I love my daughter so much. She's the greatest thing ever, but without having had her, if I hadn't had kids, it would have been all right with me. But, in a way, thank God for my daughter because she's really the light of my life, and I wouldn't want to think about my life without her. But she's awesome, and she's the greatest thing that ever happened to me, and I'd rather spend time with her and do things with her than anybody ever. So it's been magical for me. But up until she was born, if I hadn't have had a child, it would have been all right with me. I could have lived with that because having a marriage and a child and getting back into the same situation I feel like I'd grown up in was not anything that I wanted. And I actually didn't think that, I thought with the woman that I married that I would probably not fall into a trap like that. And yet somehow, in a way, we've ended up falling back into that trap, although I think we've kind of climbed out of it. Uh, anyway, let me move on here. Do you have friends? I've got friends, but not great friends. I mean, you know, I had some friends I'd grown up with. We don't talk anymore. One of those people I had talked to, on the phone and seen quite a bit. But I think my addictions and the way I live my life probably drove him away. He, I think, does really well with his computer stuff. In fact, I know for a year I know for a fact that he took a year off one time. Just took a year off because he had the kind of money where he could just take a year off. So, most people aren't blessed like that financially. So, anyway, I, I mean, I don't feel like I've really got friends. No, I mean, there's people who know me. I feel like at my SAA group, I like that situation. I feel like I can open up and be myself, and that's really helped. And I really, really got into AA when I first quit drinking and started working on my sex addictions. Um, but sort of chose a wrong sponsor for me, and that kind of turned me off to AA, and I'm not as into it as I used to be. But anyway, I don't feel like I've got any real friends, although I feel like I'm developing some friendships, you know, with the people at SAA and probably at AA too. But I don't spend as much time at AA as I used to because of the problems I have with my sponsor. I sort of, like, every time there's drama at my AA group, he's involved. And I actually told somebody, that I don't want what he has, and that if he is, he says that he's happy, joyous, and free, but I don't think a person who's truly happy, joyous, and free would act the way that he does. I mean, for sure, God's not removed his, what do you call them, character defects. And Not all of them anyway. And I just am really disappointed that he's the person I chose to be my sponsor. You know, I don't really think about drinking too much, so I don't need to call somebody every day and talk to them. And I tried to do everything the way he wanted to, and things got really hectic for me in the summer. I coached my daughter's t-ball team, and we won the league championship and then went on to the district championship and won that too. And that tournament was very time consuming with practice, and it was very, very, very hot the weekend of that tournament. It was the first weekend of the year that it was really like 100 degrees every day. And it was very draining. We had to play 8 games in 2 days with in 100-degree heat with a bunch of young girls, 6, 7-year-old girls, and I just thought it was crazy. They handled it better than the parents did. My friend that I coached with had a heat stroke during the tournament, and it took a lot out of us. I mean, I talked to him about it not too long ago, and he actually said that he, to that day hadn't fully recovered from it. And not only did I have to do that, but I was also trying to work on my 12-step, work the business that I'm in, and then we got a play set given to us, so we had to move that. Then I had to take my mom to the state where she grew up for a family reunion. I had to get my license renewed for the career that I'm in, and I had a lot of things all kind of converge there at once, and it really was hectic and stressful. And I called him up and I asked him, I said, I need some help. And he said, you need to work on your steps. And I was like, yeah, I've got all these things going on, and I think God's blessing me, but I need some relief. And he didn't offer me any relief at all. He just piled more work and more stress on me, which I think really negatively affected me. And when I got back from taking my mom to that family reunion, he said, when are you going to start doing the drinks again for AA? And I said, well, I'm back. I'll start doing them now. And he says, well, it's your turn. It's your time. It's your job, or something like that. And I was like, who is this guy? And then at a meeting one day, he said to somebody else, you start working those character defects. This guy here doesn't think he has any character defects. Talking about me. He said that to another person in a meeting. And then he's riding me about trying to perform oral sex on my wife, which, as someone with a sex addiction, and I don't like to do that. I've already talked about how I don't like vagina. So anyway, he's riding me about it, and, I have all these hang-ups. I don't want to perform oral sex on my wife, man. I mean, I'm not saying I won't do it again, but don't ride me about it, because it's going to have the negative of what you really want to happen. So anyway, I actually ended up calling him and telling him I didn't want to be my sponsor anymore. He was very angry about it. We're nice to each other at the meetings, but I think sometimes he talks at me during his talks, possibly talking to other people, but also I think talking at me as well during his talks at the AA meetings, and I just think the guy's a jerk, and I wish I'd never chosen to be my sponsor. And I think that my whole recovery has spiraled downhill a little bit because of that. So anyway, I'm trying to get back going on my 4th step, and I hope that I'll soon finish this up.